The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the QATV staff or board of directors. QATV, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent, member-produced public access programming.
Hi, I'm your host, Karen Miranda. Welcome to Whispers from the Other Side. We are coming to you live from QATV Channel 8. The phones are now open, so feel free to call. And I hope everybody had a restful and relaxing summer this year and are getting ready for the fall season to come on. And there just was a little bit of time mixed up with the show tonight, so feel free. But in the meantime, I have a good story to share with you. Over the summer, a couple of friends of mine from the station called and said, Karen, we have, would you like to come to Plymouth with us? And I said, sure, why not? And it's to go to a place where they do ghost tours and stuff. It's near the Plymouth Rock and everything. So I said, I'm game to come. So they came by one night on a hot summer night on a Friday night to come get me. So all three of us went down, myself, Andrew, and Frank. And when we got there, there was this big hearse. I guess they do some of their tours in a hearse. And so I was like, that's really cool and things. And we got talking to the people that run the tours. And she said, would you like to come up to the museum houses? So I said, okay. But in the meantime, I had gotten this part to add in. I got thinking that would be very interesting, because I had a drawing in my picture. Some of you at home have seen the drawings I have drawn, but to take a few steps back for a couple of minutes. During the summer, it gets very active with people that have crossed over, and I was laying down, and I got up one day, and there was this woman in the bedroom, and I looked and I said, oh, she looks like she's not from this time, like the 1800s. All I could see was her outline and the cap of her bonnet on her head. And when I saw the bonnet on her head, I said, well, I'm not too good at drawing hats. But when I saw the outline of her face, I looked and I said, wow, I'll have to, sketch it in, because I didn't have a face to put in with the outline. So I said, okay, I'm gonna put the drawing away. And a couple of weeks later, we went up to Maine, actually. I said, you know what? I'm going to take the drawing with me. So I closed up the work and put it away. And then I, with all the packing, as we got packing everything. And when I packed everything up, I said, okay, went up to, Maine to see everybody. It's a family reunion we go to every year. When everybody was busy talking, everything, I said, you know what? I'm going to go up to the room for a couple of seconds. So I went up to the room. I was going to get a couple of things, but something all of a sudden said, finish the drawing. So I was like, okay. And it takes a long time to, do a drawing, because you got the shading in and the lighting and all that stuff, which is really nice. And as I was doing that, it just went in just like that. So I said, okay, I'll bring it home, with the past connected to the present. So to continue the story, when I went down to Plymouth, I had said, I'm taking the drawing. I asked my daughter, should I take it? She said, Ma, take the drawing with you. So I said, okay, you're coming with me. And so to get back to the part where I was at the hearse, and we got talking and everything, and the lady was very nice. She said, would you like to come into the house ahead of time before the tour starts? Oh, that would be wonderful. So she took us up the street, and it was really kind of cool. Come to find out, even I grew up in Plymouth for years and years and years, till the folks bought a house down Florida. And I said, okay, that's, really nice. And we were going down the street. So this was one of the oldest streets in Plymouth, which I didn't know it was. And as we made our way up towards the houses on the street, I started seeing the footprints walking up towards the house. We were not alone. So, and Andrew had his little ghost hunting thing, and it was going off just a very little and stuff like that. So when I got up to the house, and I was saying, okay, this is going to be interesting because it was really, really old. I didn't realize it was from the 1800s, which I didn't realize. And when we got in the house, the lady, started giving the tours, and she asked me who was around, and I said, well, I have a little boy here that's, playing around the house, but he's pushing a baby carriage, I was telling her. And when he was pushing the baby carriage all around, I was like seeing a little girl as well, but she wasn't coming in as clear as the boy and the baby. So as we continued the tour, she said, Karen, I need to take you to the back of the house, in the back. And come to find out, in the back of the house, when we were all there, she said, this used to be a birthing room. And I was like, oh, because of the baby, and I felt very strong that one of the babies had passed away, and the little boy was taking care of the baby and playing at the same time, because spirit children still keep playing. So when we went upstairs, and I was saying about the tall man and everything, so always pay attention to what you see and hearing and feeling, because you just never know. During a reading with someone, it could be, someone who definitely understands. I said about the tall man and all that stuff, broader than his shoulders, was very sick before he crossed, and had something wrong with his legs, and I said to her, he was very prominent in the town of Plymouth. And I said, oh, what did you do? And she said, with being prominent in Plymouth, he was a politician. And I thought that was really interesting, because when she was telling me that, my legs started getting really weak and tired. And as, he continued talking and everything, and he was saying thank you, he was happy about, the way they were keeping the museum house. Okay. Really in good shape.
I'm going to be on.
Okay. Hi, Jacqueline. Welcome to Whispers from the Other Side.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Do you have a good? Can you speak up just a little louder?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, good. We can hear each other. That's wonderful. Did you have a nice summer?
Yes, I did. Did you?
That's very, very good. Glad to hear it, Have you ever been to a medium before?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes if you understand, no if you don't, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to get going with you. I don't do medical diagnosis, and I don't, that's your doctor, okay? Just to fill you in. I don't give any negative or bad messages out that way, all right?
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to get going with you because I feel a woman vibration that's all around you tonight. And
yes.
I'm feeling, a female that you were very close to on the other side. Can you understand so far?
Yes.
I'm feeling a maternal love, like a motherly love towards this lady with you.
Yes.
And your mother's all around you from the other side.
Oh, okay.
Can you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Your mom is coming through very strong tonight.
That's good.
Yeah, she's starting to come in really, really good. And she's doing, really well over there. She wanted me to tell you that. Okay.
Okay.
She's doing great on the other side. She's coming in very strong. She's saying she's just so happy not to be sick anymore. Because just before her crossing, she wasn't doing that good, and you would understand that too?
Yes, I understand that.
I'm so glad, she's saying, I'm back to my spunky self.
That's her.
Yes, I'm back to my spunky self, Very, very, very nice lady, though. Very, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You miss having Mom around, she's telling me.
She what?
You miss having her around.
Yes.
You missed your one-on-one conversations a lot, too, she's telling me. You used to go to her a lot, she was telling me when she was here.
Yes.
She said, she's telling me to tell you she's listening in from the other side.
That's good to hear.
And she hears you talking to her, too, by the way. And she sees you praying, she sees you praying for her and everybody over there on the other side. Can you understand that?
Yes.
She said, and the prayers have helped her out a lot, by the way. And she's,
That's good.
yeah, and she's telling me to tell you she's all healed. She's not sick anymore.
Good.
She said, I'm all healed, and I'm so glad. I'm glad to be out of, the physical body that she was in, because she couldn't do a lot for herself at the end of her crossing. Can you understand that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, and she's telling me, tell her thank you for helping me out.
Thank you.
She said, yes, you helped her out a lot too, by the way.
Yes.
Yep, and she said my daughter was there the whole 9 yards. I mean, she's happy she's making things again too. When she was younger, she liked to make things.
Oh,
Can you understand that at all?
no.
Okay, I'm getting someone else that liked to make things that was very crafty. Okay, like the wreaths you hang on the walls and all that stuff. And I don't know if this would be your grandmother or not, but I have to give that.
No.
No, okay, I'm getting someone else that I'm going to ask you to back off to what you're trying. But I'm going to get back to your mother, okay? She just needed to hear that I'm all well again. If you can
That's good to hear.
Yes, and she's with your dad, by the way.
No.
No?
No.
I'm getting a fatherly figure that's over there on the other side. I'm feeling a grandfather figure that's all around you.
Yeah, no, not
No.
my dad.
You don't know your grandfather?
Yeah, my grandfather's on the other side, but not my dad.
Yeah, no, that's why I know. That's why it's coming in that way too, okay? But your
Okay.
grandfather and your mother are together over there.
Okay.
I just want to tell you that. And your mother's telling me you're doing a good job holding the fort.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
That's her message to you. And she's also telling me, I'm just glad to be out doing stuff. You know what I mean? You kids
Right.
I'm glad you can understand that coming from her. And she's also telling me it's just a lot easier now for me to get around than just before I
Okay.
crossed. You can understand that as
Yes.
well? And she's coming in like this because this is how she was. She was very private but very kind and caring
Yes.
and nurturing. Very private lady. That's why it's coming in
Yes.
this way. That's why it's coming in with this way for you with her. But she said, I'm trying to see what else she has to say, and she's saying she's out enjoying a good walk on the beach.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, but I have to give that to you anyways. When she was younger, she did like to go to the beach. If you don't understand that.
Yeah, she did like the beach.
Okay, thank you. And I'm thanking her as well, just to let you know that. But she's saying it's just so nice. She's not over on the other side cooking up a storm either.
Right.
And that would make sense to you.
Yes.
Because she was a very good cook. She's saying she was anyways to me, And she's saying she liked when everybody was together, especially like coming up on the holidays and all that
Yes,
stuff.
she did.
And I'm glad she's saying that's really, when I had to do, like big cooking, and you would understand that as well.
Yes.
And she's saying she's helping others on the other side like she did when she was here.
That's good.
You can understand that?
Yes.
And I'm trying to see what the message is for you, Jacqueline. Your mom is just saying hello from heaven.
Okay.
Hello, she's saying hello from heaven to you.
Oh, that's good.
And she's with her father over there on the other side.
Yes.
And she's saying, for you, she's very proud of you, and she's very happy that you're taking care of people still here on the earth plane.
Yes.
And you would understand that. She's telling me to tell you her other message is, you got to take some time for you.
Oh, yes.
And you would understand that?
Yes.
I'm so glad, and I just want to leave you with that. And from your mom, hello from heaven.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. When you're shy like that, sometimes it'll take a little while for for people that have crossed over, to come in clearer, because she was a very private lady. And I want to thank Jacqueline for sharing your mom, and your grandfather was in the background, so letting your mom have a chance to speak. So anyways, to get back to the house down Plymouth, and it was really cool because there was so much spirit energy going on in there. And when I was talking about the man and everything, and Andrew had it on my last show when I on TV. I'm going to see if it could bring it back on again. This little machine, he said, Karen, every time I go near you, the machine keeps coming off. And I started laughing. I thought it was kind of funny because the temperature would go off, and then it would, go like mad. So I kind of said, okay, and I continued the tour with the tour guide, and her name was Jan. She was very, very nice. And what was really nice, after we were done in the first house, I said to her, I got something to show you. And she said, what? And I said, I have a drawing that I did, but I only do the drawings when I see them in my bedroom and things like that. And she said, this person, I knew she wasn't from this time frame, but I had to get her in and get her on the paper. And so she saw the drawing, and she told me, you got to come here. And I said, okay. And as we went over to the area that she wanted me to see, she said, look on the table. And I couldn't believe it. She said, look up close, because it was one of those older photographs of somebody, but it was really nice and clear. And I said, it was the lady in the drawing. She said, look at her eyes, look at her nose and her mouth, and even the way the eyebrow was going in to the drawing. I was like, and Jen, the lady giving the tour, was pointing that out to me. She said, look at the picture and look at your drawing. And I'm like, okay. And she said, got talking about the drawing, and I said, you know what? I said, would you like to have the drawing? And she was thrilled about getting the drawing, so I could sign my name like most artists do and everything. And when I signed my name to it, I put my daughter, because my daughter did the hat from the 1800s, and I'm used to at least try to attempt to do modern day hats. And so she said, I'm going to put it in frame, and so it'll be interesting to see if she put it up in the museums. And I felt very honored, and I thanked the deceased lady for, I felt very honored. Even when I do readings for everybody at home, I feel very honored that you people share your loved ones with me. And so as we continued the tour, after I put the drawing down, and there was another house we went up to, and we weren't alone. And as we went up further into the house, we went in, and the stairs started lighting up with this woman, this kind of heavy-set woman. And she said her knees were bothering her, and because they kind of swelled up. And I said, okay. And Jan, the tour guide, she said, who are you seeing? And I said, there's this lady here that she has really sore knees, and she's kind of a little on the heavy-set side. And when she just looked at me and she said, that's the woman that owned this house. And she said, where are you seeing the footprints and feeling everything? I said, on the stairway. And she said, other people, which is wonderful, that when other people have gone into the house, they could see footprints going on the stairs. So I thought that was really cool. And as she was coming in closer, she started telling me more. And I guess she died of some disease or something like that, she was telling me. And everything is interpretation. So I was telling the lady, the tour guide, what I was getting. She could understand everything. And we got into this room, and I said, this was her room. And she said, yes, it was. It was her room. And so as we continued, I thanked the tour guide for, letting us go into the two houses. And I said, it was wonderful, because when we did that, I said, oh, that's really cool, because, it was still active. We were still down there. So I've got a couple more good, fun spirit stories to share with you. And when we were going back up to the graveyard, it started getting really busy. It was about maybe 8:30 at night or something, because it was getting dark and everything. And went to the graveyard and different things, and I've never been in that graveyard. Probably passed it a million times when I was a kid, but just didn't really think twice about it. And this gentleman started coming through from way back in the 1800s, back near that time frame, way back, because they took us in the older section of the cemetery. And as we got talking, I said to her, I go, who's the man who died writing, and stuff like that. And she said, nobody's ever said how he passed away, but the man, we were right beside the man's grave. And then a couple of different spirits, came in, and we got talking along the tours and everything. It was kind of cool going in the cemetery at night. Of course, I always protect myself with the white light because I don't know what other kind of energies are going to be in the room. So when we did that, I was like, okay, and not hearing the whole story of the street, Andrew and I kind of went, off. And I said to Andrew, I'm feeling this lady that walked up and down the street. And Andrew said, didn't you hear what the lady was saying? And me, I'm deaf in my left ear. I have a very good right ear, thank goodness. But he said, no, not really. He said, a woman used to, and I said, was she from the 1800s? He goes, yeah, because he said, I felt this woman, I saw a piece of the dress. Because however spirit does present themselves to me, it's what they want to give any of us. How they want to present themselves in spirit communication when they're communicating. But she was going up and down the street. And so after that, we went back up to where everybody was enjoying the tour. So I said to Andrew, I said, oh good, we could go inside now. And that was really cool. With everybody while they were going in there, and he had his little ghost hunting machine on, and it was really nice because when he had it in his hand, I said, that's really cool, and it was going off. He said, Karen, it's going off again. I said, I'm not surprised. And it was really cool because I said, there's something about the stairs. I saw this big ball of energy in the stairway. And Andrew said, Karen, as soon as you said that, the whole thing went crazy. I guess the temperature, the lights on it and everything. I'll have to have him, or at least bring it on with me again to show everybody at home what he was talking about. So I'm like, okay, that's really cool. And somebody said, what are you seeing? I said, the lady, and she said, I guess she kind of like hung out in the stairway. So I thought that was very, kind of interesting because where their houses were so old and so active, I said, that is really, really cool. Which to get up to the next thing I'm going to talk about, and I want to thank them. It's fun if you guys ever have a chance to go down there. It's, kind of like worth the trip to go down to check it out. Which is how spirit presents themselves to everyone. Like I'm a clairvoyant, clear audio and clairsentience medium. It's just, different every time of how spirit presents themselves to me. It's what I have to accept when I'm communicating with people that have crossed over. And everybody communicates differently. An interpretation. I was watching something the other night on TV. Some lady started a show, and I'm not going to say anything about her show or anything, but when she started saying about angels and different things, and they don't show wings and everything, and I'm kind of like chuckling because I don't always say everything that I'm saying, because some things you just do keep quiet about. And when she was saying about, I don't believe they have angel wings and everything, and I'm like, well, again, it goes back to how someone is interpreting something. I'm like sitting there watching her, I'm like sitting there saying, how can she say that? Because spirit they really do present themselves very, very different. And it's how they, show themselves, which is, the interpretation of, how they're coming in. Because it takes an awful lot of energy for these loved ones to come through and show themselves when they are coming in with all the evidence and information, and even like to show stuff they owned. It's like it takes that much more. Like with me too, a lot of it's like their memories that they shared with me of how they were on the earth plane, that you at home could understand what they're talking about, whereas I wouldn't understand how they were, talking about or what they were saying. So I said, okay, which leads me on to another one last story I'm going to share with everybody. But just to let everybody know, we are going to be here on the 2nd and 4th of every month. It was just a time schedule mix-up, but the next live show will be, be at our regular time and stuff. We're just doing a half-hour show tonight, and we'll be back on a normal hour show, and it'll be on the schedule ahead of time, and just a schedule mix-up because of the summer and being busy and all that. But I have another story I want to share. I went up to my cousin's campground about a week ago almost, and we were out walking and everything, and I said to my cousin, gee, I'm feeling funny on the dock. I feel like something again is coming over me. I feel like someone drowned when they were here on the dock, not on the dock but in the water. And so as we were talking, I was telling him what goes. He said, you mentioned that a while ago, Karen, about someone drowned in here, and this. So I said, okay. So I just let it go. But I said, I can't stay. I asked him, well, how deep is the water? Because the door, it goes out to a certain point and the water, and then it like dips off a little bit. So I said, I think I'm gonna go inshore. I'll see you when you come in here. And he said, okay. So when we went inshore, I went back to the campground with him, and everybody was sitting around the campfire and everything. It was really nice, actually. There was a big old, campfire, and they were throwing the wood in it. It was nice, and we were sitting around. And when I got there, my friend Margaret, my cousin's girlfriend, said, Karen, I need to see you for a minute. I have somebody wants to talk to you. Dave would like to, say something to you. And I said, okay. So she said, a while back when I went in July, she said, you mentioned a drowning here. And I said, yeah. And she said, you were telling us, giving us information about the person, drowning. And I said, okay. And then they said, well, Karen, I got something to tell you. And I said, what? And said, before I started, I said, Margaret, but when I was on the dock with Chris, I had to get off right away because I was feeling like something or someone was in big trouble, because I couldn't see who it was, but I was feeling the clear sentience end of it, of like the drowning and everything. And Dave starts speaking to me, and he says, Karen, I gotta tell you, he owns the campground now, but the previous owner, when they lived here, I said, what? And he's going, the previous owner, when his wife went out to, check to see if it was all right, he used to go down to the part where everybody goes swimming, unless they go out in a boat, of course. He said, the man used to swim the ropes and swim back and forth, and get some exercise. And I'm like, okay, and yeah. And as he was continuing, he says, you're right. I said, what do you mean? He had taken a heart attack and drowned it right in that area where I was telling Chris, and I told him a couple of weeks beforehand about the man that passed away there. And I'm like, I thanked him for sharing the information with me, and I thanked the deceased person. I went back like the next day. I just took a little quick walk and said a little prayer, and I said, thank you for sharing and thank you for validating the information with me, and it's not about me. It's just, I appreciated Dave, thinking, and okay, she's talking about this person that's coming through. And at first it didn't click until later on. That's why sometimes, like when I'll tell everybody, you gotta think about sometimes if it doesn't make sense, or even like if you might not know a loved one, if it's a grandparent that you didn't know, ask if you can ask. Because sometimes when they're given information, it's a lot. Okay, and we're just doing a half an hour show tonight, but we're going to be here at the end of September. And just look for the schedule. Like I said, there was, mix-ups and all that stuff with scheduling and things like that. But we're going to be back at our regular hourly show at the end of the month. And I want to thank everybody for listening in. And the one caller, Jacqueline, thank you for calling. And I hope you enjoyed some of the stories I shared with you tonight, and pay attention to your abilities with the seeing, hearing, and feeling, because You never know. You might have something, and then you write it down, and someone that you might know might understand the deceased loved one that's coming through from the other side. And don't forget to pray for our men and women that are serving overseas and that are going to be, just pray for our country. And there's been a lot of not such good stuff going on, and pray for the reporters and the different families, and send lots of healing energy, and ask Archangel Michael to protect all of our soldiers as they, get ready to, the president's going to be on tonight. So, and lots of love and lots of light to everybody. And thank you for listening in.